So some fiscal sanity out of Washington this morning is Philip Grubauer has been signed to a 1-year, $1.5 million contract. Yeah, that's a good cap hit, and 1 year is about right, because for Washington, they have options at backup, and that is a very trade-friendly contract should they decide to go with Copley as backup. I don't know if it's Copley or Copley, I don't really care. Because up until now, Phoenix Copley was just a regular everyday guy that's sitting around the AHL, but because they re-signed him, there's the potential that they could want him for the backup, and they could think that maybe there's a market for Grubauer. Certainly at $1.5 million for 1 year, there's a market for Grubauer. But we'll see. We'll see what Washington does from here. I still can't start doing team previews, and Washington's a good example of why. They still don't have a full roster yet. So until they have a full roster, I can't exactly preview their season. We know who their goaltenders should be, but we don't know a whole lot else. In other news, Tocchet's in the running for Coyotes head coach, and I've talked up before how I believe that Rick Tocchet would make a very solid NHL coach, and I think it would be a smart move for the Coyotes to pick him up. Good, solid, hard-nosed player when he was in the NHL, tough as nails, and I think he'd be a really, really good coach for the players. Arizona's needed a change. Tippett being out gives them a chance to make the change they need to. I don't necessarily think that Tippett was a problem. I think that Tippett was a good coach for them for a long time, but I don't think he was the problem. Now, I'm not gonna predict that the Coyotes are going to get better with a new coach, because last summer I predicted when Patrick Roy was out, Colorado would get better with whoever their coach was, and I was wrong. Colorado got a lot worse, and so I'm not making that prediction for Arizona at all. Even though Arizona's in a similar situation this summer to what Colorado was last year, sort of mired, seemingly in need of a change, young team. Well, we'll see what they do. We'll see what Arizona does from here. I think, and again, this is just me. I think that hiring a very young general manager in Arizona, while it's thinking outside the box, I think it's sort of like when people talk about me and they say, you know, Shannon, you should be a GM, and I get that. I see that comment every now and then. I basically ignore it on the channel because no, I shouldn't. I am not qualified to be a NHL general manager. I can talk the talk on this channel a lot, but in terms of actually sitting down and figuring out, okay, here's who I'm keeping, here's who I'm losing. Sure, I like certain players and I like certain moves, and sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. But in terms of actual day-to-day operations of a team, yeah, I wouldn't have a clue what I was doing. And I sometimes get the feeling with Arizona that they went with the stats guy. They went with the young guy. They're trying to do something completely different, and I'm not sure if it's ultimately going to work. I think that Tocchet would be a good hire as coach. I think there's a lot of good pieces in Arizona. I think some of their moves are odd, and some of them have worked out. I definitely don't think that Chaika deserves to be out of a job or anything. I'm just not sure that he was necessarily the right hire for the situation that's going on in Arizona. Maybe they figured with the money that's been lost, with the fan base having dwindled, and just ticket sales being where they are, maybe they figured, oh, well, it doesn't hurt to try something completely different. That's a tough sell when you're giving that job to a guy who's going to drive season ticket sales and going to make decisions about who gets how much money and who you keep and who you lose and what you get for what you lose. It's going to be an interesting season for Arizona, and I think Tocchet to me seems like the right hire. Tocchet, this isn't the first team that Tocchet's been rumored to. Both Florida and Buffalo at certain points over the summer, I read his name attached to. I wouldn't have minded seeing him in Dallas, to be honest. I think that would have been a good fit too. But then again, I'm a fan of Tocchet. I think that he's been an effective assistant coach, and I think he deserves a shot at a full-time head coaching job. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what he does. But let me know in the comments section below. Tocchet to Arizona. And of course, the Grubauer, I don't expect anybody to say anything but nice things about Philip Grubauer getting signed by Washington, because this is the first contract I've looked at that I've seen them sign that I've said that's really, really reasonable. I didn't say that with O'Shea. I didn't say it with Kuznetsov. Even Burakovsky, I'm like, I don't know. It's a bridge contract. I get it. But, I just, maybe I'm just pickier than other people. But to me, I just haven't seen enough out of Burakovsky to say, yeah, I'd spend multi-millions of dollars on him. Sorry, didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Anyways, Grubauer, 1 year, $1.5 million. Let me know why it's great in the comment section below. Let me know why Tocchet's a good or bad hire for Arizona, and what you think about what's going on with the Coyotes. And by all means, hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, and I will talk to you guys again soon.